Okay, first things first. I am going to do a hell of a lot of bitching over the next 4 years. I bitch a lot, anyways. I don't know if you can imagine this. There will be even more complaining and even more bitching, 10% more, 100% more complaining and bitching and moaning on Spazzing Out, America's podcast, over the next 4 years. As days go by, every single day, a new story comes up about what's going to change under our new president when Joe Biden gets elected, executive orders that he's going to put into place, things that he's going to change. And my head might explode. I don't think I can even sleep at night when I'm reading these stories, thinking to myself, what the fuck is going to happen? How is this stuff even possible? Please, for the love of God, the runoff races in Georgia need to go to the Republicans so we can have some kind of check and balance in this government, because otherwise we are headed for straight out fuck up city. Before I get to that, though, of course, we always have spilt milk. This is Spazzing Out, America's podcast. We do it 5 times a week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, Fridays. We do it in the morning. Now, you can watch the podcast as I do it live. The purpose of doing the live stream is just to have some kind of interaction with people while I record the podcast. I actually don't have to do the live stream. Sometimes I think about not doing it because no one really watches. Maybe I got like 10 people on Facebook, not even, maybe like 2. Same thing on YouTube, same thing on Twitter. I don't have Twitter today because, as always, we have technical difficulties with equipment here on America's podcast, live from my basement on Revere Beach. I'm sure one of these days we'll do a podcast where my basement is flooded with ocean water, but we'll still get the podcast done. Most people listen to the podcast on an app: Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio. They ask Alexa, hey, Alexa, play Spazzing Out, America's podcast. Or you could go to anthonypaziali.com and you could click on the link and you'd get my podcast. Plain and simple. Click on the link. Whole bunch of places where you can get my podcast. I need you to subscribe to the podcast, please. Somewhere around 700 and 650 and 700 people download the podcast when it first gets uploaded, right? It gets uploaded sometime around 7 o'clock. And people listen, but not as many watch, which is okay. They're listening in their car, but I need to get more. I really need to be at 2,000, 2,500 downloads a day to monetize this, and we'll get there. It'll be a grind. It's called hard work. It's called, you work your ass off and you get the riches and the spoils from it, the gratification. But we're heading in that direction where hard work's not going to matter anymore. We're heading in that direction where success will be gone. Hard work will be gone. You will just get given things. And anybody that works hard will be looked at as like, the hardworking people of this country are going to be the next minority. If you are a hardworking person and you work for everything you've got, you're going to be looked on and you're going to be shunned. You will not, you know what? They're going to segregate hardworking people. You're going to go into a restaurant, there's going to be a section, or they're going to just say, no, we don't serve hardworking people. And then there's going to be a water bubbler that says, lazy fucks only, where anybody that actually works hard, they'll be kicked out. People just look at you. Oh, you work hard? You have calluses on your hand? This guy works. You're going to be looked at like you're a disgrace. That's the direction that this country is heading in. Every single day, a new story comes out about how we're going to give more free stuff. We're going to forgive things. We're going to open up the floodgates to America, and it's going to kill the will for people to want to be successful. And people who are successful are going to be penalized for it. You are going to be the new minority. It's going to be the worst. You're going to work your ass off and get less. You're going to work your ass off and get penalized. You're going to be more qualified than other people, and other people are going to get your position. They're going to get your money, and you're not going to want to work hard anymore. Our generation, my generation, I'd say 40 plus, They're going to push us out. They're going to kill us out. We will slowly get older and die off. And the younger generation will be a generation of lazy asses that get free stuff and know nothing of competition, nothing of success. And if you do strive to be successful, you will be looked at, honestly, you will be looked at and treated as if you were a piece of crap. You will be literally, you strive to be better than other people. You're different than other people. Oh my God, people, their heads will explode if you don't conform. Their heads will explode if you eat, a Captain Crunch instead of eating their stale ass cereal that they provided for you, and you will be kicked out because you have thoughts, because you think, because you want to be successful. What makes me say that? This is what gets me to my point. As we get closer and closer to Joe Biden becoming the president of the United States, it's getting clearer and clearer as we get closer to state certification that nothing, there's no smoking gun here. Nothing's going to save or overturn the election in the favor of President Trump. Yes, I understand people would like to look in Nevada and see how a local election had irregularities, about 130 or something like that, and they threw that out, and in hopes that there would be some irregularities with President Trump's. It's just not going to happen because, as I said on yesterday's podcast, the government doesn't want it. And we will never know the truth. That's how I feel. We're never going to know the truth. So we're going to get Biden. And as we get closer to getting Biden, news stories like this come out. Liz Warren has reminded the American people and Joe Biden of their deal. Now, we all know there was no upfront deal. It's not like they all got on TV and said, hey, we're going to support you. This is the progressives, Liz Warren, AOC, Bernie Sanders. It's not like they got together on front of the TV and said, hey, we're going to back you. We'll be quiet. We'll lay off, and we'll support you so that you get the progressive vote as well. But what we want in return is some progressive policies. What we want in return are some socialist, commie-ass policies when you become president. And Liz Warren reminded him the other day and said, hey, Joe, remember the deal we had that if we backed you, you would help us, you would give us some socialist, some of that downright communist fucking help? Well, the first one's come out, and Joe is now going out there talking about his free college plan. Now, let me let me preface it with this. I'm gonna be serious here. Education is probably one of the most. It is the most important thing for a better America. Access to education is huge, and I would like there to be public education for anybody that would like it, for anybody that is qualified. Let me get that. I don't want to say qualified money-wise. I want to say qualified brain-wise to get this education, because we really do want to educate the best of the best. There are probably some people out there that are the next Einstein that might not have access to college. Now, of course, you should work your ass off and find a way to get there. I did. I paid for college out of my own pocket. I really did. I didn't take out student loans to pay for college. I went to college and I paid for it. I worked overnight. We'll get into that in a second. But I want America to be great. I really do. And the best way to get our country great is to give our citizens an opportunity to get educated. So I wouldn't be opposed to having a free state college for these kids. The only problem with that is when things become free, they suck. When things are free, they suck. And now I like to put it in terms that people can understand. My kids, they go to public school. Public schools give out computers now. They give up laptops. They have these Google Chromebooks that they give out, right? Well, I bought my son a new Google Chromebook. Paid $300 for it. Here you go, buddy. Now, my daughter's in kindergarten, and I'm like, I'm not buying a fucking $300 computer for my daughter because she's in kindergarten. She's 6 years old. Not going to happen. So I took the local one. I took the school one. And the thing is a piece of crap. It doesn't work. It's not the fastest. You get what I'm saying? It's garbage. When you have something free, it sucks. Like free bread sucks. The only thing that's good that is free is government cheese. Government cheese, but it's probably fucking terrible unless you grew up on it. Like back in the 80s when I was chomping down on government cheese, bro, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. But I'm sure I haven't had a slice of it in years. I'm sure if I had some of it now, I'd be like, oh, this is fucking terrible. So free education will most likely not be that great. And of course, I forgot that, oh my God, the most important thing is free education is not free. It's not free. Free education costs taxpayer money, which means it costs you more money, costs me more money. So there is nothing free. It's raising taxes. So maybe they don't have to go in that direction and free. I would gladly take some of my tax money that I pay and allocate it towards education. I would. I care about that stuff. I want people to be educated, but it's just not free. And that's the problem with this younger generation is that they think when they hear free college, free healthcare, let in the refugees, well, someone's got to fucking pay for that. And it's very simple to just bring it down to a home level. Bring it down. I'm going to give you guys an example. Let's bring down free everything to home to make it easy. Thanksgiving's coming up. Who pays for Thanksgiving? Dad. Dad fucking pays for Thanksgiving. Dad gets all the fixings, all the trimmings. Dad gets the damn turkey. Dad gets the apple pie. Dad gets the pumpkin pie. You got to have pumpkin pie. We have to do a show on Thanksgiving foods. And pumpkin pie is probably my pumpkin pie is definitely my favorite pie. And Market Basket makes a bomb-ass pumpkin pie. I think we'll have to do a whole entire podcast. Maybe we'll do a Thanksgiving special on like right before the day before, and we'll talk about Thanksgiving foods and must-haves and must-not-haves. Pumpkin pie is a absolute must-have on Thanksgiving. But Dad pays for it. And other people, let's say now this year, there's not going to be any people over, and Dad is extremely happy. But I'm a little bit upset. Honest, you know what? I'm actually a little bit upset. Someone said pecan pie. You know what? Kaylee, my wife, loves pecan pie. Pecan pie is pecan pie is just straight up like it's sugar. You got that layer of what kind of they're pecans. You got the layer of pecans on top, and then underneath it's like this 2-inch thick layer of, I don't know, sugar, literally. Anyways, so let me give you an example of free and how this works out. Let's say you're having, I was going to have free Thanksgiving this year. Free. I was supposed to go to Drake's Island in Maine, where our family, Kaylee's family, has a place in, it's on Drake's Island in Maine. You can fucking Google it and see where it is. And we were going to be at the compound up there. And they were gonna do we were gonna do turkey. We were gonna do pecan duck, pecan. I don't know how to say it. So some kind of duck and game hen corns. I don't know what the fuck they were. It wasn't gonna be turkey. It was gonna be a different kind of bird. But the point is, it was gonna be free for me. I was gonna have a free meal, but someone still had to pay for it. Uncle Hawk, would have to come out of pocket to pay for that. Aunt Kathy would have to come out of pocket for. Do you get what I'm saying? They actually had to work. So now let's flip it, because the script got flipped, and now because COVID's on the rise, we're going to stay home. My family wants to stay home, so now it's going to be me, my wife, my mother-in-law, my daughter. I'm not sure if my son will be here. He probably will be. But he doesn't, he's still that age where he doesn't eat anything that Thanksgiving-wise. He hasn't had the taste buds for it yet. So now, let's just imagine everybody was coming to my house. So now you got 4 people at my house. Now I got to pay for that. But my daughter, she doesn't pay anything into it. My wife's not paying. Well, you know what? My wife and shit will pay. So let's not use them as an example. Let's say I had other people coming over. My brother came over. That's more mouths to feed. It's you get what I'm saying? So I bought the turkey. I bought the stuffing. I bought the fucking pie. I brought the pecans. But yet I have to share it with you, and you paid nothing. But you still got just as full as I did. And you know what's worse is you didn't have to clean the fucking dishes. You didn't have to take care of it. You didn't have to take out the trash. It's the same thing when you get free shit in America. Getting free shit in America is the same thing as going to someone else's house for Thanksgiving. You go to Thanksgiving, you eat all their fucking food, you don't clean up after, and you leave, and you're full, you're not hungry anymore, you're tired, and you go to sleep, but you didn't pay for shit. You paid for nothing. And trust me, when people entertain other people, they're not fucking happy about cleaning up after you. They're not. I'm not. When you come to my house to eat something, bro, I'm like, this sucks. I don't even want people at my house. I really, when my son's friends, well, they don't come here now, but before COVID, when they would come over, bro, I would get steaming if I seen one of these dudes drinking one of my bottles of water. I would flip the fuck. I'm just looking at my scenario. Bro, we're not feeding the fucking world. Each one of those bottles of water is like 50 cents. We run through them. I don't want to go to the store. Tell your kids stop eating my fucking chips. No, they can't have any cheese. I'm ordering pizza and it's fucking one pizza. And if you want to split it with your boys, go ahead. Otherwise, you're going to starve. Dad's not feeding the world. I'm not. It's just like my father would get pissed off if you open the door and you had the heat on. But hey, I'm not heating the outside. Same thing with the AC. I'm not trying to fucking cool the world off. Shut the door. So that kind of stuff pisses me off. Which leads me to where we're headed. These are the two stories that are in the news. Liz Warren reminds Joe that he promised to do some progressive programs, and one of them is student loan forgiveness. This is how we got into the conversation about free school. It turns out that Joe, well, it doesn't turn out that Joe, because he's been saying it the whole time. But one of it turns out, yes, that Joe made a deal with the progressives, with Bernie Sanders, Liz Warren, the AOC types for support, in turn for giving people student loan forgiveness. How does student loan forgiveness work? Basically, if you have a federal loan, you're not going to be able to get forgiveness if you have a straight up loan from a bank. You're going to be fucked, right? See how unfair this garbage? See how bullshit this is? But I don't care about fair and unfair. The world isn't fair. So please, fair and unfair is out the window. You're going to hit the lottery if you have a student loan that's backed by the government. So if the government gave you a student loan, or if you got a student loan and got bought out by a government agency, that happens a lot. It happens with mortgages, where you go and you get a mortgage from somewhere, and then the government, back loans like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they'll buy it so that there's more money to loan. If you have one of them, they're going to wipe it out. If you make under $125,000 a year, they're just going to forgive it. It's going to go away. You're not even going to have to pay the initial money. So let's say you paid 50 grand or 60 grand for college. They're not talking about wiping away the interest rate. They're saying, hey, gone. Bye. And people would say, oh, you're a dick. They look at me like, oh, you're a dick for not wanting to give people this. And I say, okay, well, when I was 18, 19 years old and I was going to UMass Lowell, right? I went to UMass Lowell my first semester. I get through it. It was like $5,000. And I remember getting the bill. And I remember UMass Lowell being like, well, you can't come back unless you pay. You're out. Bye. See you later. And I went to my dad. Dad, I need this money. My father laughed at me. $5,000, dude. Fucking, if it was $1, it could have been $1 million. So I worked. I actually worked. I was on the wrestling team. So I told the coach, hey, coach, I can't fucking practice. I got to go to work. I didn't. The whole fucking month of January, I worked my ass off. Now, I didn't get to all the $5,000. I almost made $3,000. I paid that. They let me go back to class. I did that whole rest of the semester. Summertime came. I owed the $5,000 for the spring semester, plus the other $2,000. I worked my ass off that whole summer. I got all the money. I paid it all off, except at that point, I switched. So I did that whole freshman year, and then I stopped. And then I went to Middlesex Community College because I looked at the price difference in the transfer of grades. So I was like, shit, Middlesex is like, at the time, it wasn't much, like maybe $2,000 a semester. So I went to it's like $3,000 a semester, $6,000 for the year. So after that, I went to Middlesex, and I did that for 2 years. I got my associate's degree in communication, and I paid for that out of pocket. So it was $12,000 out of my own fucking pocket, bro. At this time, I'm like 19, almost 20 years old. Then I go back to UMass Lowell, of which for one semester where I stopped paying again out of my own pocket. And all the meanwhile, while I was paying for school out of my own pocket, what I was doing to pay for it is I would get to class the earliest, whatever the earliest I could do classes on and the earliest I could get them over, I would. So let's say class started at 8. I'd go to class from 8 to like 1. And then I would go do foundations while it was, the time of the year where it would stay dark till like 6, from 3 to 6. And then I would go and get on the fucking train and I'd go to Boston and I would do radio overnight. Overnight, I would do radio and I get back on the fucking train. I go to class, dude. I slept like an hour. I would sleep like a goddamn hour, 2 hours period. And I still party, bro. I still party. You damn right. On Friday night, I was all up for the keg fucking party. Animal. Paid for it, though. All by myself. And it taught me determination, hard work, and how to fucking really dig in, which is what I'm doing now. We'll get to that in a sec. So anyways, the whole point is I worked my ass off to pay for it. Hard. Real hard. And then while I was going to UMass, my second time around, so UMass, one semester, graduated from Middlesex Community College, hopped back over to UMass because that was the smart thing to do because it was cheaper. All my credits transferred. So I would have paid twice the amount of money to get the same fucking credits. And then I got my job working at WAF full-time, on air and producer of a morning show at 20 years old that I did for 16 years. Because I worked my ass off for it. But it's not about me. It's because it's every American that did it. It's every American. Now, not all of us paid it up front like that, but some of us went to college and we worked for 15 years to pay off our college loans. Some college students went to school. My brother Jesse's paying off his. My brother Mike paid off his. Well, actually, Mike didn't. Mike only had to pay off his master's because he went to school for free for wrestling at Hofstra. But the point is, millions and millions of Americans throughout the years have gone to college, took out student loans, and then had to struggle to pay them off over 10, 15 years. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It sucks that you had to struggle. What I'm saying is it's just complete bullshit that the rest of these people get off. It's complete garbage. So if you're going to do this, then I want my fucking money back. I want my money. I want my money back. Give me... You think reparations for fucking slaves that have been dead for 200 years is important? I'm still alive. I remember how tough it was to go to school and then to go to work and to pay it off. I want my money back then. Give it back. Give me my fucking money back. But you won't. And the truth is, I don't really want it back because it taught me life lessons. It taught me how to persevere. It taught me how to be persistent. I would always tell myself I will persist until I succeed. It taught me endurance. It taught me hard fucking work. It taught me that no one will do anything for you. You have to do it for yourself and you got to get after it. And I do it now. Even to this day, I struggle. I have a company that is absolutely decimated by COVID. My fucking junk removal company probably won't make it through. It probably won't, but not because of lack of effort, because I've been working my balls off to try to save it. But it's difficult right now. Not a lot of people have money to spend on junk removal. They need it for their essentials, and I'm okay with that. But I get out there every single day, and I work my ass off, and I try to pay. I have a company that has operational debt, and let me tell you, one of these days I'll tell you exactly how much debt I've ever had and how much debt that I made that I could pay off in COVID. Bro, it's a retarded amount of money that I've paid off in the last 8 months in the middle of a pandemic. Banging it away, hitting it every single day, trying to attack it, dealing, negotiating with debtors, trying to work out situations, say, hey, listen, I'm a good guy. I pay my debts. Let's move this here. Let's move this here. I'll pay you this. I'll do this here. I'll do that there. And then I get after it. I actually talked to a debtor the other day, and the guy was like, man, he's like, when I first started talking to you 8 months ago, he's like, I thought no shit in hell you'd have this thing paid off. And I just fucking paid one of them off. Literally a shit ton of money. And I paid it off. Hopefully I can get through them all because I don't want to file bankruptcy. I want the company to make it through. But that's how bad things are right now. But if I didn't do this when I was in college, when I was a kid, when I was 20, I didn't work my ass off to learn that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's just not for me to know. Is it the left turn? Is it the right turn? Or is it straight ahead? I just got to keep digging. But no, in America, we want to give kids free stuff. We want to give them college student loan forgiveness. We don't want to hold people accountable for making bad choices. We want to hit the reset button for them. We want to say, hey, you know what? Someone probably should have educated you and said, it's a bad idea to take this student loan. But no, mom and dad didn't do it because mom and dad didn't know shit. Mom and dad were happy. They were excited that you were going to college. They were pumped up. They were pushing you out. Go ahead, go to school, take these ridiculous loans, take these 20% interest rate loans that are going to absolutely decimate you, kill you, and you're pretty much fucked until you're 40 trying to pay them off. And now they want to wipe them out. And they will. They will go away, but nothing will change because the people that they're wiping them out for, nothing changes. Now they'll have extra money. Here, I will give you the example of what happens when you wipe out debt for a fucking mutant. The mutant now makes more money, right? So let's say the mutant was paying $700 a month in the student loans. You wipe that out. Now they have an extra $700. Do you think they take that money and they put it towards the mortgage? They put it towards the car payment? They put it towards groceries? No, they spend it. But not only do they spend it, they overspend it because now they go and take out a credit card because they're like, well, now that I have more money, now that I could say I have an extra 700 in income, I could probably get a credit card for like 10 grand. And they'll go and they'll do it. And they'll max that bitch out. And in less than a year or 2 years, they will be in just as much debt as they were before the fucking student loans. Because people are morons. They're idiots. You should have to take a test before you take debt. You should have to qualify for smarts on how to use debt the right way. Because trust me, I've used debt the wrong way. I annihilated by it. I'm telling you, I could write a book on the wrong way to use debt and just to never use it. Forget it. Get rid of it. Get it out of your life. It'll kill you. You think you're a slave to taxes? You think you're a slave to your wife? Well, you're a slave to debt. You are just a straight up slave to debt. Drives me nuts. So tomorrow, because I got to go to work. Listen, tomorrow, as we get closer to Biden becoming the president, we're getting closer to free. We're getting closer to socialism or to him giving up some things. Another thing that's burning me is that he's going to open up the doors to the refugees. 125,000 refugees a year is what they're promising. And we need to talk about why that's a problem for the United States. It's not a problem for Democrats because that's 125,000 votes for them in presidential elections and in local elections. But for the American people who can't find work, that's a huge problem. Opening up the gates is a huge problem. But right now, a huge problem is forgiving student loans. It's not the forgiving of it. I'm happy to see people not have to pay for that. It's the message behind it. It's the finger to anybody that ever worked hard. It's the right here to go fuck yourself. Sorry that you worked your ass off. We're going to give this to them free. Sorry you were born in the wrong time. It's garbage. All right, thank you so much for listening to America's Podcast. Guys, I got to go to work. I'll get up early tomorrow so that we can have more of a conversation and talk about stuff like this. But again, I don't want people to think, you know what? I don't care. I am a dick. I'm a dick. I'm a dick. If you get free school and I had to pay for it, yeah, I'm going to be pissed. I am. When you hit the lottery, I'm not happy for you. I want to hit the lottery. It's garbage that you're getting it free. If they do debt forgiveness, I'm telling you, I'm going to look. I'll find something, some way, somehow in the Constitution. There's got to be a way to be able to take out a lawsuit because I want to sue the government for misappropriating my money to give you. I don't want to pay for college twice. I already fucking paid for it. I don't want to pay for it for you. I don't. Pay for it for yourself. Work. Go to work. Work hard. Don't look to me to help you out. I got to pay for school for my kids already. So I don't even want to do that. They should have to figure it out for themselves. They should have to work their asses off and figure it out for themselves, or don't go to school. Join the military or something like that. It's a complete garbage. Thank you for listening to America's Podcast, guys. Have a great day.